Hello, movie lovers, and I just want to go on ahead and talk about Gene Wilder for a few minutes. As everyone knows, that he passed away yesterday, and his most iconic role was for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and to me, that was just one of his most touching movies that he's ever made. Despite the fact that, yeah, it bombed at the box office and stuff like that, it's still a cult classic, and not only that, everybody enjoys this movie for what it is, and it actually has a moral to the story. Each person can actually relate to each of the characters in its own way and stuff like that, and especially about how children act. And he just had a great way of showing his love for kids as well as his character in the movie itself, and it even has that passion um, and this heartfelt warmness to that character. Gene Wilder was one of those comedians that actually made you feel a part of a certain movie that you would be watching. He had you glued in and laughing the whole entire time. Not only that, but he was also quite the great comedian too, alongside with Richard Pryor. As a matter of fact, whenever you saw these two, it was like watching lightning in a bottle, pretty much. Because whenever you saw that those two actors act side by side with each other, it was electric. Because you actually knew what you were getting out of a Pryor movie, along with Gene Wilder. But man, I love the movie Stir Crazy whenever they're locked up in the prison and they don't know if they're going to get out or not. And they're over there trying to survive prison life and everything else. And everything just seems to be where these lawyers are trying to help them and nothing is working for them. And so therefore they actually try and find ways of trying to break out of prison on their own without the help of the law or anything else. And they were wrongfully accused, of course, no one believes them. But still, it was just a fantastic movie that will actually make you laugh all the way through. And I've actually, not only that, but I actually believe that these two actors were actually locked up in prison with these other prisoners. As a matter of fact, in the movie itself, in case anybody doesn't know this, this is like a little trivia. But they were actually locked in there with actual prisoners, along with some actors as well. And that's actually something pretty neat that no one has ever really researched or anything about. But that's just a little piece of movie trivia that I wanted to give you guys, a little small nugget. But aside from that, like I said, Gene Wilder is one of those people that you knew what you were getting when you watched the movie. You knew that the movie was going to be nothing but filled with laughter. And I also want to go in and touch on another movie too. Is Young Frankenstein. This is a movie that I actually enjoyed watching as a kid because I was able to understand the spoof of Young Frankenstein because it's actually the black and white version of what of the spoof. Well, actually not the spoof, but actually the horror movie of Frankenstein, the black and white version of Frankenstein, and it was able to captivate what that movie was to a spoof movie. And to me, if you're looking for a great spoof movie, check out Young Frankenstein because it's filled with laughter. And Gene Wilder was able to give you a lot of laughs with that role. And there's just that movie was just as iconic as Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, in my own opinion. But man, that was just one of those movies that I actually laughed out loud through the whole entire movie, no questions asked. And that's the same thing. He always gave on 100% on everything he's done. And this is just one of those things that I actually have to say. There's not really a bad movie that I don't. There's not a movie that I don't like him in. There might be a couple that I actually felt kind of boring or whatever in some areas, but still, Gene Wilder was a genius at his best, and he died of Alzheimer's. And I actually feel like he lived a great life. He was 83 years old. He retired, and he actually took care of his wife whenever she had cancer and stuff like that. And you don't see that nowadays, where you see celebrities that much caring for another woman as much as Gene Wilder did. And he was able to go ahead and take care of his wife. And then after that, he disappeared too from the acting world. And it's very seldom that you actually see that. Rick Moranis retired for that same exact reasons, for taking care of his wife, wanting to be with his family and stuff like that. And I actually commend him too. But anyways, I don't want to get off target with this, but I also want to actually talk about the movie not Stir Crazy, but I want to talk about See No Evil, Hear No Evil. I remember the very first time I saw this when I was 10 years old. Actually, this is the first time that I actually saw Kevin Spacey in any movie at all. And I've actually liked that, like the bad guy, how they're driving the bad guy crazy and stuff like that. And they're trying everything they can to convince the cops, hey, look, we didn't kill this person. We were a frame. We were set up. And then the chemistry between Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder was just outstanding. Gene Wilder plays the deaf guy, and of course Richard Pryor plays the blind guy. And they both get framed for murder that they didn't commit or anything like that. And then you're pretty much on this wild ride where you're actually where they're actually trying to show that they're not being that they didn't commit this murder that they said that they did, and they steal a police car, they do everything, and one person can't hear, the other one can't see, one matches the other, and the chemistry is just right there. And like I said, it's electric in a bottle and lightning in a bottle, and you can't go wrong with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor when they're playing in each other's role. The chemistry is just there, and you can even tell that they were really good friends during that time too. But I'm actually gonna have to say this. The another movie that I actually liked him in was Haunted Honeymoon. Now, this is a movie that's kind of different in its own way. It's kind of like Young Frankenstein, but a little bit different. It's got John Candy in it. It's got Gene Wilder in it, and this movie was actually pretty good. I mean, if you're into like a comedy horror movie for Halloween to sit your kids with and stuff like that, I would actually recommend this movie too, because of the fact that it's about this radio host who ends up going out on a haunted honeymoon at this haunted house, and things go awry. And it's actually a fantastic, funny movie where I actually have to say that there's nothing bad I can't say about this movie other than the fact that you guys need to go check this out. And the chemistry between John Candy and Gene Wilder was great. Then you also have these laugh out belly roll moments in this whole entire thing. And I really can actually say that you're going to actually enjoy this movie because it's Gene Wilder. Another good movie is Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles was a good movie. The chemistry with Gene Wilder and the other actors as well was very spot on. And, it's just one of those things where this actor couldn't do no wrong. He was hitting it home run after home run, in my opinion. And, he was just a great, heartfelt person that was actually fun to be around. And, he had this great quote that I'm actually going to quote. He goes, I love playing in movies, but I don't like the business. And that just goes to show you how dirty some of the movie business actually is and stuff like that. And it actually controls your life if you let it. So, I actually have huge respect for Gene Wilder. But anyways, those are just a couple of the movies that I actually want to recommend to you guys. If you haven't seen any of those movies that I mentioned, you're gonna laugh out loud. You're gonna cry until you can't laugh no more. Your insides are gonna be hurting from laughing, and you're gonna be all teary-eyed because of the fact that you're actually laughing so hard. And it's actually hard to actually have that in all comedy nowadays because everything's all raunchy and everything else. With this, it's a kind of a raunchy thing or whatever, but it captivates everything because of the humor and the body language and the expressions that they use on each other's faces and stuff like that. And it's just great. There's nothing that I can't say about Gene Wilder that I don't like because I can keep on going with this. But anyways, I just want to tell you that. And, until next time, I'm going to be trying to do some other movie reviews and stuff like that. There might be a movie review on Green Room soon, so you might want to stay tuned for that. Another thing I'm actually going to try and tell you guys is this. I have some other stuff that's going on too, so I might be a little tied up with things, but don't worry. There's always going to be some type of video or something like that I'm going to try and post. But anyways, if you guys love this video and if you love what I have to say, don't forget to give me the thumbs like button. Don't forget to comment below. And not only that, but share this with everybody that is a film fan and show them that you guys are a film fan. Because without film or anything like that, life would be boring in my opinion. So anyways, until next time, bye-bye.